tuning in to Gone.net.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Gone.net. John is back. He has been missing in action out doing some family stuff for the last few weeks, so we've missed him.
It's weird to sit back at my desk again. Usually, if I've been doing anything on the computer, it's been on the couch.
Yeah, John's chomping at the bit to do something, so he's back live streaming. So that's awesome.
Back just in time for Christmas break. Great.
Is that you're going to stream over Christmas break too, right?
I'm sure we can find some times. We'll see. We'll see where the days fall.
Yeah, if you can do tech. Well, you've been off for a month, so you're going to be like, I need to code.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that in bits and pieces. Like it's only been like a short, spurts at a time. Just while in between, I'm doing stuff. So, been getting stuff done though. I did a few things.
Okay. All right, so he's doing some code, but probably not enough.
I think didn't I do the container stuff like through some of that too? I did some MCP stuff with Apple provisioning. There's a bunch of stuff that it's those little things that you don't always get to, and then I'm just like perfect little projects to pick away at minutes at a time that you have, right? So we should talk about some of those in the future too.
We can definitely do that. So obviously had some fun guests on. We had Gerald on.
Yeah.
Him and I talked.
He didn't scare him away too much, so that's good.
No, he'll come back. He likes us. I think so anyways. I didn't pronounce his name right though. We've all been saying it wrong.
I just never say it.
But why? You should know it better than I.
I know. But I don't have to. We're on a first name basis, so it's fine.
You have to say it that he's got like that Dutch accent that he said. Yeah. It was like Versleuis, and no, it's like Verslaus.
Yeah, just don't even try then, right?
No, but I think I got it this time. He can swear at me later if I didn't. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been ranting and raving about this library, and John never hears the end of it because I'm more of I don't want to say a back end, more architectural dude.
Is it the library I think you're gonna say? I won't spoil it.
So I'm gonna share my screen, and where did my mouse go? There we go. Lost my mouse. That's great. And I'm gonna one of these times I'm gonna share the right screen without hanging up on you. And share. You'd think I'd do this before the stream. See, this was one thing I didn't set up before the stream. Damn rookie. Entire screen. Share this one. So this gentleman, and I apologize if I don't get your name right, Safwan Abdul Ghani. He is working on this project called Room Sharp. Now, people like it. So this is basically kind of another ORM or object relational mapper. Everybody's heard of EF Core. And
do you know where Room comes from?
Well, Room is Android's thing. Although I don't see where this relates to Room personally, other than the attribute-driven.
Yeah, I don't know that it does. It just I think that was where the name was borrowed from.
But what makes this particularly interesting, and this is kind of something I also rant and rave with John about all the time, is that source generation is like the future of a lot of .NET stuff, right? Like if I'm still waiting for DI to be like, there's no more like runtime registration. It's just all DI source generation.
It's kind of funny too, because like we've gone in a way it's almost surprising that this is the path that things have gone down, because we started with lower powered devices and like, but I guess it makes sense because this is like the constant seeking of the fastest things you can do possible with something, right? So as .NET matures, like every release, there's like, oh, things are faster again. And I think we're kind of been getting to the point in the last few years where it's like you got to do some things like AOT compilation, right? Like,
Right.
and so that becomes a big deal, especially in Maui, and especially as Maui moves towards more like core CLR stuff, less mono runtime, more AOT compatibility, more just being part of like overall .NET. You have to figure out how do we make these things work in mobile, where historically a lot of stuff has been just all dynamic with reflection and doing all these things on, and that's on the server. It's never been that as big of a deal, right? Because you have more.
Right.
But funny enough, like mobile, we've just kind of like assumed the same bad habits, and now with AOT becoming a bigger deal, it's like, okay, now you have to start thinking about how that works in your app. And I know getting Pool Math compiled for iOS AOT, like their native AOT, we should almost do. I wouldn't know enough or be fresh enough to talk about the distinctions of all the different like bits that are variations of this space, like because there's like native AOT and there's like run what's the ready to run. There's a bunch of different things, right? And
Okay.
like what runtime you're using and stuff. Anyway, trying not to go down that rabbit hole right now. But the thing is, like, as people are starting to compile their apps to support AOT, one of the things you find right away is like, oh, well, this dependency that I use doesn't really support it yet either. And you start to kind of unpack this whole situation of, if I really want to get to this point, I need to make sure that like my dependencies are actually geared and ready for this. And one of the biggest ones that people have to do on their devices is database stuff, right? And that's traditionally like EF core on mobile and even on non-mobile. Like I don't think they support AOT at all at this point, do they?
No, I don't. Now, I'm not going to go on record saying this. I don't see how they'll ever get to full AOT with
I
EF
think
Core.
They
might have like a subset of
course, man.
features that like
Yeah.
a mode that says we want this to be AOT, and then it'll start like they'll probably have another code analyzer that'll go through and go, no, if you want AOT, not
Yeah,
this.
you can't do this. Yes.
But right now, the way it looks, I don't see how they can get to that. I mean, technically, if everything's in your EF Core DB context, I guess maybe they could write the mother of all source generators to deal with it.
Mhm.
But the amount of work would just be holy jumping. It'd be pretty darn big. I mean, it's a powerhouse. I'm not saying don't use EF Core. Don't use EF Core on mobile. Obviously, that's been kind of long known.
That's kind of interesting though, too, to like from an using EF Core perspective, and maybe this is part of where I'm still a bit fuzzy on some of the things, because I know you could kind of do like trimming stuff. You could do partial trimming where stuff, or like be more explicit about like keep things rooted. But with AOT, I don't know that every configuration has an option to kind of do just parts of it. I know in like older Android and iOS stuff, there was some of that where you would try to like AOT the hot path on your Android app, for instance, right? But other stuff wouldn't necessarily be AOT'd.
Yeah, you used to have to put in that hack class to prevent it and say, "Oh, see,
Yeah.
I can see it in the code."
But for like server stuff, it seems like AOT is becoming more of an interest, I would say, and maybe not to the extent that most people are thinking about it. But I bet we're going to get there in the next, I don't know, few years or something.
It is becoming more of interest because a lot of companies are getting more cost conscious.
Everyone's trying to squeeze as much as they can out of their stuff, right?
Yeah, it's because the clouds are trying to squeeze everybody out of the money, right? It's really tough to run. It's getting pretty expensive, which can't say we didn't see that coming. But I think a lot of people are like, hey, we've got to scale back all this infrastructure now, and we've got to look to be a little lean. Use the tools like AOT because C# running as a whole with reflection is kind of a fat client, right?
Yeah.
When you start AOTing stuff, you're almost getting down to C level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's very robust, very lean. There's no reflection. There's no all the bloat where they have to create all these extra things. So it technically, the less there is, the faster it runs, the less compute you have to spend. So I think that's what's coming.
Yeah.
But to kind of hop back to,
I just my point before you do is that I feel like EF Core is going to have to figure that out.
maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like I said, maybe we see a subset of features. I don't know.
That could be
Link
their
is
way of
very,
figuring it
very
out.
hard. You know, you could argue that iQueryable is probably the leakiest interface or leakiest abstraction in .NET, only because there's such a huge volume of things around that
Mhm.
that it's like impossible to implement everything on it. And the best part is that I see all these like repository patterns built around iQueryable, and really the only thing that does full metric iQueryable, like full, is either in memory or EF Core. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So people make these repositories around them,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
there's
they
always
just base
something
it
that you
all
use
of
and
the
you
data.
try, and it's like, why doesn't this work?
Yeah, they bring all of it into memory and then they run it. So it's not really digesting iQueryable, it's just digesting IEnumerable. So,
Mhm.
you know, I get it, but I don't. Link is hard,
Oh, yeah.
and iQueryable is hard. So I think a lot of people are starting to scale that back. It made sense. Strongly typed things with your C# made sense. But now as we kind of enter the new era and source generation, so coming back to this Room Sharp, which by the way, does support SQLite, and it supports SQL Server, and it supports my favorite Postgres,
Mhm.
and then MySQL and MariaDB are in there as well. But to kind of go over where this thing is cool, it has kind of the same, like everybody in mobile's used SQLite -net -PCL, right?
Yeah.
You're doing SQLite, you've used it. And so a lot of this will look semi-familiar, right? Like define the table, define some indexes, you know, say if they're unique,
Mhm.
primary key, right? Which is great. But this takes it one step further where you start writing like, hey, I want a query that selects, you know, everything from the users table where the email is this. And then it turns this into, then you put a function below that and it goes, I know how to fulfill that. I know how to source generate that.
Right.
And that's freaking beautiful, right? I want to upsert a user and I want it to be transactional based, right? Or I can just insert it, right? It's magical. Now there's a couple of other things that he has to do in terms of kind of setting up like the database abstraction and how you're like because you could have multiple databases, right? Maybe I have one in MariaDB and maybe I have one in SQLite. So he's kind of got a smart way of kind of separating those and then having like, you know, a user data abstraction object here and in the other database so that you can kind of bounce between them and probably bounce between the different syntaxes, right? Because they'll be slightly different based on wherever
that's
you're going.
Good point. Yeah.
And then he's got kind of the standard stuff like setting up like the journal mode in SQLite and how you map up SQLite, timeouts to close the database, etc.
For querying, like do you have to write the SQL statements? Does he have a mode where it kind of figures out like the basic ones, like here's an object, I want to find it by the ID or something like that?
I don't think so. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we would want that or not, but it's not there yet.
I mean, kind of the idea of abstracting a little bit away from needing to like customize your SQL syntax for different database systems, right?
I mean, the fact is that for insert, he does, right? So
yeah,
insert,
exactly.
I'm assuming update and delete are the same.
Well, at this point,
but it also is aware. It's aware of the primary key.
Yeah, like I guess I don't do a ton in the database world anymore. But like I kind of would have hoped by this point that most SQL that there was enough of like an underlying standard syntax that most databases would support. Like I know that generally obviously SQL is very similar in a lot of them, but like there's minor nuance differences, right? Like with Postgres, the first time I started using it, I didn't realize that like casing super mattered.
Oh yes,
and so like I did weird stuff as Alan drops out, but I'm sure we'll be back. Making sure that I had the right quoted cases and stuff like that as I was doing things. So there's difference between things. Hopefully Alan can show back up on stream right now.
Oh, was it you that showed back up? It showed me you dropped.
Oh, it showed me you dropped.
Oh, well, that's.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what the final output looks like. I just was explaining further explaining my needing to quote columns and stuff when I realized that, because I didn't use I didn't just do lowercase or whatever.
And quotes are a good one for Postgres.
Yeah.
So you can see he does have it, so you can manually take over if you need to. You can do kind of this custom query stuff. So if you've got some dynamic filters or dynamic orders, you can plug all that stuff in. Right now it's not object driven, which is all right. I imagine it's coming. Because again, he's really thought this stuff out well. And even like I said, if you want to read the object raw, he's mapping all this stuff up in the queries and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, really well thought out. What else is here? Builder superpowers. You can swap, build your own provider, versioning, callbacks. That's interesting. If you want to have monitor your database for inserts, updates on certain objects.
You're not showing here. We can show it on stream again.
Oh, there we go. There's stuff like add callbacks, which is interesting if you want an observable stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what?
No, that's cool. That's cool. I like it.
So you can, if you're basically, what's that pattern in React? I can never remember the hell. I'm getting too old for this crap. There's a pattern in React that's very good at that, right? So if I go and insert it, it can spin the state all the way around. It'll come to me at some point in the stream, I'm sure, but it's great at dealing with that. He does have some stuff with transactions, if you need to do your own transactions. Converters. So if you've got a GUID and you needed to go to string or vice versa, that's something that people have been trying to send PRs to SQLite.net forever, and it's not being accepted. Whatever, maintainers got other things to do, I guess. But this is fantastic, right? It just, now we can transfer types without fighting too much with it. Just recently I had to do a version, the CLR version object. I wanted that to go to and from a database without it being a string.
Yeah. Yep.
So that, this is kind of those areas where this can get involved.
And it's not an overly complicated way to do it, right? That's what I find so often with a lot of other systems, a lot of other libraries, where it's just you can maybe do this, but it's this whole ceremony and just weird. I don't know. I often find APIs, I wouldn't do it how they have implemented it, or I don't think the same way. But I'm looking more at this one. It's this is how I would probably do it if I had to do it myself. If I was designing this, right? I guess it just it aligns well with how my brain sees the problem statement. I like it.
And so it gets even better. Another feature. Now this one, I understand why SQLite.net doesn't get into it, because you can run into a lot of problems with relationships.
Yeah.
But this does it out of the box. He's got a relation. So if I've got a parent child, it could automatically load up the children and vice versa. So there's a lot of, he calls them post query. So I'm not sure if it's a split query that he runs or what.
Kind of lazy.
These are some of the things. Yeah. Lazy load, or it loads the parents, then loads the children separately. I don't know. There's a lot of complexities in that. If you look at, the first versions of Entity Framework used to create this massive Cartesian product. So, it repeat the user, so if you had user and then properties, for example, it would repeat the user 10 times for every property. And they did some cool mapping where they were the same object, same object, same object, same object. Okay, new object, new user, next property, right? They've gotten a lot smarter since, I believe, and I think SQL's kind of started to back them up in ways to get away from that. But you can see how that would be an absolute pain to code. So I'm not sure what this one does yet. I haven't played with it yet, but it's there. I mean, it's pretty cool. There's migrations. So there's auto migrations where you can go from and to a version. That's pretty cool. Slightly easier than EF Core, I guess, in some respects.
Yeah, I as you know, did some stuff with EF Core and it started taking my Disney Mouse Must Eat app and migrating it off of a hosted, like Supabase is what I was using, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, right, and we talked about like, oh, well, maybe I should just stand up my own API and do it with this and use EF Core and use Aspire and do all the things like the kind of standard way of doing them in .NET. And migrations was the one thing that I really don't like with EF. And mostly, I don't know. I don't mind in a sense that they're automatic. Maybe it's because I don't do it enough and I don't remember either this command line syntax, or I know like you can do it in Rider. But I think I like the code first approach to migrating. And I understand like EF Core, the tooling like generates the code and you can see the code and it's all there. Like it's not magic in the sense that it's doing something you can't tell what it's doing. I kind of like the simplicity though of like writing my own version changes, and I guess I could do that with EF Core too, but this just feels like it's geared towards doing it that way instead of like, well, EF Core dumps out a bunch of code that you could technically write yourself, but maybe it's not the nicest to do.
So that's like segue to what we're doing today too, right? So
yeah,
we can come back to that. So migrations we will go over today, and the IDE does do a lot of the work. But yes, you can indeed write your own migrations, which is fantastic for like if you have to backfill data and stuff.
Yeah.
This also has it for the times you need handcrafted SQL, derived from migration, override the migrate method, and boom, you're in. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Prefer to craft the SQL yourself, raw query methods, except I support SQL query. So you can go in there and create your own stuff. They do have this dependency injection thing. I couldn't get it to work out of the box yet, but again, this thing is in kind of in an early beta. I think last time I checked, it was like version 0.42.
Right.
But this is on the right track, man. This is fantastic. This will be fantastic on your .NET MAUI apps.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at my
server,
my code. Maybe I'll see if I can share the window.
A lot of people think like, hey, I'm going to add EF Core because it might change databases. Nobody changes databases, man. It doesn't happen, right? Like
no, exactly.
You may have a product that swaps between. It can go to Postgres, it can go to MS SQL, but you don't. Do I need to? Are you telling me to get off the stream?
I was trying to figure out how to do it, but it's not working so nicely. So I'm not gonna.
There.
No, but I don't have the right setup. I thought I could share just the window. I don't want to mess around with my resolution and all that.
Oh,
I'll figure it out next time.
I always get trouble for that.
But what I was going to show was pretty simple anyway. But it's like I basically have a version of this, but I had to do all the plumbing code for the like the writing the commands and I wrote like a little thing to execute a query, and that actually does the work of creating the SQLite connection, the SQLite command, and like I'm using the SQLite whatever the raw whatever that package is that everybody uses, right?
You're doing it right up against it?
No, sorry. I guess I use that package, but or maybe I'm using the ADO or whatever on top of that.
Okay.
So I'm writing like the common pattern of a SQLite connection object, and then the
so Microsoft's command. ADO.
Yeah,
Microsoft
which is
ADO, SQLite.
fine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's great. Like it works great, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could probably take this file, which is currently almost 1,000 lines, and probably drop it down to like a couple hundred, because most of the stuff is just cruft that this Room Sharp is doing already.
And something to put out there too, because the argument is going to be, hell, we can generate all this with AI. Yes, you can.
Sure.
There's nothing, yeah. But this, AI is going to stop. It's going to think. It's going to look at your code. So every time you want to make an adjustment, it's going to go, and it's going to take several minutes to go through it and set it all up. This is as easy like that select star. If we go back to the data access object, right? If I write a new property into this, it's just there. Like it's going to work. If I do select star and I add a property to user, as long as the migrations run, it's just going to work. Like I don't need to go and generate more code. The source generator's actively looking at this stuff going, oh yeah, I got to put that in too. Right? Like that's the thing. That's the big difference here is that the source generator, once it's tested and it works, it's going to generate this code the same way. Like you can't, it's really hard to make a typo at that point. So I mean, this is great. This is great. Use it, test it. The author's a seemingly nice guy. I sent him a couple bugs. He responded like right away. So I think he's anxious to get this out. He's working on it. So it's not open source yet, but it will be. He's
I don't know that. Like, I don't know if you explicitly said it. I'm sure we implied it, but it does because it's all source gen. It's all AOT compatible.
Yes, it is.
So that is the like big win for, hey, this looks fantastic, especially for Maui apps for that reason alone. Because it's basically taking what, like you said, everyone uses SQLite, Net, whatever. But this is like a much more sophisticated version of that.
So I will include links to this project. He has documentation. He did an excellent documentation site already. It'll be on our stream notes. Definitely go check this out. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I've tried it in a project again, couple bugs. He's working on it. But he's very responsive. Great job, Safwan. I love it.
Yeah. And hopefully once it's open source, that'll help, get people submitting maybe more informed bugs.
Yep. So this week, to kind of go back, John segued early, as he does.
Yeah.
We were going to do some data seeding. So we've been working on this project. The project itself, as feature-wise, I'd say it's mostly done. There's a couple things like we want to save the points from. So as GPS coordinates come in, we want to save them. We want the grain to save them. So in our Orleans implementation stuff. So in order to do that, we have to create a database, which we're kind of already doing. So I'm going to pull up our...
Yeah, I was going to say that code's there, right?
So we've been spinning up a database since the beginning of this project for some unknown reason. I'm not actually sure why I did, but we did. Because we're not using it at all right now. That's all right. We're going to use it now. We're going to make it happen. So one of the things is that SQL does Aspire does have this, like, I think it's on the database. So database, let me pull up IntelliSense here. And it's going to figure it out. Come on, figure it out. So when resource ready, connection string. There's so many things in here now. Sometimes it's hard to find it. With relationship, I thought it had a with. All right, I guess not. Relationship. Anyhow, there is a way. Basically, when the database spins up, Aspire knows, hey, I haven't created this resource before. I'm going to run your backfill script. It's very limited in what it does. Basically, it knows, okay, the container's not there, so I'm going to run this backfill. I think it might even go a step further and check the volume to make sure, oh, hey, yeah, this database isn't at all.
That is like a function of Aspire that's doing that? Because like I was using EF Core's migration stuff or seeding stuff in what I was doing.
Which we will get to.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious if this is like a different isolated thing.
It is, and it's built in. I can't remember exactly where the command is. Anybody on the stream that could tell us? I never remember. I was sure it was off the database, right? So you create the database and you say it's like with startup script or something. So that's great, but you're basically just giving it a raw SQL script. And if that creates schema, great. If that creates data, great. Who cares, right? It's not enough. And if you're using EF Core, it's even worse because then you have to tell EF Core, okay, generate my stuff, do all this craziness, and we'll figure it out, right? So, and it also doesn't deal with migrations, right? So if you're versioning your database and as you move forward, you need to be able to create this stuff. So I figured today, since this was right up John's alley, why not go ahead and do it? So funny part is too, I gave John my old way of doing this. Basically, I always have with my Aspire projects, I have like what do they call them? Prompts. Do you remember what they're called? We ask it a question, parameter prompts or whatever.
Oh, it's just parameters, right?
Parameter prompt or whatever. We're basically where you go into.
It asks you, I've just always added them, and then it asks you if you don't have them,
And then it says, hey, so I would always have like 4 options. Do I want to delete the database and recreate it, which is good for dev? I don't know about you, but as I'm building data models and stuff, I tend to just nuke it, rebuild it. And so I keep going through that. Then there's, just migrate it, migrate and seed, etc. So all these little options I would have. And the thing is, I hated all of them. The goal was, just write. If I want to start fresh, blow away the volume, start again.
And then it does it.
And then create it. So in order to do this, it's a bit funky how Aspire does it right now. And I'm sure they're working on it because I know this is a constant request. But we're going to create a class library. Technically, no, let's see. We want it to be a background worker. So the funny thing is with Aspire, they want the thing to run. You can't just spin up a console app or a CLI app. So it's got to be a worker service. So I tend to call this, so we're going to call it gone.net.whereareyou.db migrations.
Okay.
And you're going to let that create. It's going to get mad because we're using, we are indeed using central package management. So I will unscrew that up. There we go. I'm going to get rid of all of these guys because I don't want to ever run them. They're going to run from our app host. I'm going to reference this project in our app host, right? Because that's how we do everything. And last but not least, I'm going to do var db migrations equals builder.add project. And let's see, there we go. And we'll just call it DB migrations. Oh, look at that AI already figuring out. Wait for the database. Yeah, I want to reference the database. I want to wait for it. And I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm also going to do the silo is going to need with reference. Do I already have the database? No, I don't. See, I don't even have the database in here yet. So I'm going to do database, but I'm going to do wait for the DB migrations to run this time. And then
I want to just wait for the database on that too. Wouldn't that effectively get you the same thing?
So I'm kind of doing like a cascading effect. Yeah. So get the Orleans config. Technically, this is going to run first, right?
Yep.
So this is the configuration for the Orleans silo. This is all the 10 million things needed for the Orleans to run. This is the database server. And then the database instance itself. So what I want to do is I want to say, okay, DB migrations, you're going to wait with the reference. Yeah, so get a reference to the database because it's going to seed the database, so it kind of needs that. So I got to wait for the database to be ready. Now I want our silo to have a reference to the database, but I needed to wait for
migrations to run.
Right. And because now the other cascading effect is the API has to wait for the silo. So it's like a chaining effect, right? So silo can't go until migrations is done, and API can't go until silo's ready. So it's just a chain of effect, which is fine. That's
exactly what you want to use Aspire for, right? It's like gives you that whole order of operations and dependencies, and
c'est bon, right? It's good. It's good. I like it. It's fantastic. So we have our program, we have our worker. What other 10 million things do I have to do on this one? So The good news is that I've already done this work once. I don't really want to do it again. So I'm going to pull up a program that I have for this, or at least the start of it, and it's going to be erroring mightily, but that's all right. So I'm going to pull. It's funny, I didn't even do this like that. Interesting. What did I do with this guy? I might have I might have changed my mind. This might be a DB migration, but let me see. Or this might be not a worker. So we're going to pull that in. So this is kind of my original stuff. Oh, I didn't even reference the service defaults. We're going to need that. That's how we get our database connection into this guy. There we go. We don't need this anymore. And these actually have to go over to my program, right? Because we need to register our database. And this I'm going to come back to in a second because we don't really have that yet. We have our worker. Don't need any of this junk. And we do have to create a scope. So I'm going to hack in our service provider. Services. This is because the database is all, or DB contexts are all.
They're all injected, right?
So they're all scoped.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking for. So I'm going to take out the recreating database because I don't want to do that anymore. I basically just want to do migrate async. Let's just make it nice and stupid easy. You'll notice I have a seeder. Now, the difference here is that I have to check if the migrations run, which we'll get to in a minute. This is my dirty and easy version so far. Now, we also need to create our data library, which we don't have yet. So I need a class library, which is, what do we want to call this? Who made this namespace, man? Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Could I blame you? I guess not, eh?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. All right. So GPS position is pretty much our only data object right now, I think. So we have double latitude. I think I even started recording direction and stuff too, right? Longitude. Double speed. What else did we have? Direction.
Timestamp on it.
Oh, yeah, that might be helpful. Heading. Timestamp. See, it heard you. We need a primary key, which I'm going to do this fast way. And I guess we need a user. So we did this kind of user identifier. Great. So that looks good. That's okay. That's okay. All right, let's add our app.db context. It's just what I like to call them. Oh, and of course I put in the wrong flipping thing. Let's pull that back up. And we'll call this GPS position. Okay. And we need to create our app.db context. And we'll call this DB context. Oh, I haven't even installed Entity Framework yet. That would be helpful, right?
Well,
Microsoft.entityframework.core. And what are we going to do? We're going to do this in SQLite. So I'm going to actually install the SQL or Postgres. SQLite.
Yeah, right.
Postgres. Framework core. Come on, why aren't you coming up? No. SQL Server, Cosmos, SQLite. Oh, I know why. NPG SQL.
Yeah. It's not in the Microsoft.
It's not in the Microsoft ecosystem. And now, come on, install. Do your thing. There we go. That woke it up. And now for DB migrations, I need to do one other thing, and that is install Microsoft Entity Framework Core.design.
I was going to say design. That's such a. I hate the term design within the .NET ecosystem.
Right. Okay. I assume that does what I want it to. So now we should have that. I'm going to create our DB context. No. And I'm going to do, oh yeah, I need to do this. So we need this and a blank. So as much, wow, IntelliSense is going
Blank
super slow. There we go. So you need both.
Why do you have both? I don't have both on mine.
So in order to run the migrations properly and create the migrations, because I'm going to create the migrations here in a second. See,
okay.
migration.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. You don't believe me?
Well, I wonder if maybe I'm okay because I'm actually using the identity DB context because I used some identity stuff.
Oh, so
maybe they do that automatically.
Oh, maybe. All right. So let's create our DB set. There we go. It's already one step ahead. And I am going to steal from my other code. Give me 1 second. So I like to have, now this is preference, okay? I'm not saying this is right. Don't necessarily do it this way. But something that I like to do is to create, I like to put in my service defaults the actual entity framework. So our data library, data access library. And the reason I do this is because probably most things that are inheriting it are going to take entity framework in some form. And if worst case, you don't use it, then don't register it, right? True, you're bringing the library around, but nothing's really happening with it. So just leave it alone. We don't need net topology for this project, that's for sure. And we do need migrations, but I'm not going to do this fancy for now. I'm just going to do gone.net. Where are you? See, look at this thing helping me out with my camera in the way. We don't have a name for this yet, do we? Yes, we do. Program. What do we call our database? Gone.net DB. So normally I have constants to pass around.
Yeah, I was going to say like that's maybe the one nice thing to do yet, but
hacking away here.
Yep.
So I inject both the context factory and the DB context. This is because this is coming out of an Orleans project. When you're an Orleans project, you need a DB context factory to create an app, or I can inject my service provider. It's your choice. Pick your poison. The whole point is the DB contexts are scoped, so you need to use them and then get rid of them. So that's why I have a context factory too. It's just another way of pulling it out, makes it nice and easy. So now, let's see. Why is this still angry? Why is worker? Oh, because I didn't do this yet. So now I have our DB context is here. Our worker's registered. Now I need to shut down this worker. I'm well aware. Let's check our program. So this should light up now. It does. So now I should be able to create. So this is a thing. This is in VS. This is in Rider. Funny, it thinks it's going to use EF Core tools in 9.0. I wonder if I need to update. I need to update that, I think. So it's already figured out, okay, yes, DB migration, startup, the DB context. It's done all of it for me already. I don't even really need to do anything. We'll see if that's a problem. Let's go. We're going to create that and see if it's angry.
I know I see mine as being updated to 10, so we'll see if it will. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Okay. Yeah, you want me to update it. You stupid thing. It's always right when I'm in the middle of this, right?
One of those things too that's like, oh, come on, like Ryder, can you do that? Figure that out?
Just do it. Just do it for me. Why I gotta do this? Install. What are they called again? What was I trying to run?
Yeah.
I gotta find it. This is the fun part of dev, right? Figuring out all the stuff. EF. I think it's just EF. Let's just install and see what happens.
It is .NET-EF is the global tool.
.NET-EF. Are you sure? Did I do
.NET tool? I mean, I'm looking at the .NET tool install, not install tool.
Okay. We haven't fun yet. Tool install.ef.
You want that global, or are you just putting it in the?
Does it do that by default?
No.
Now let's try it. There we go. Yeah, see? There we go. Updated.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this again now.
Hopefully it will work.
There, see?
Hey, look at
Beautiful.
that.
There we go. Okay, don't be a pain in the ass this time. Cannot resolve. DB connections. Where are you from? Root provider. DB context tools. Okay,
Is
so
that
something
just is that?
It is
Yeah, I know.
complaining. Let me see. Did I name this right? So constructor's right. No. Yeah, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. This is what's in my old one. What are we angry about? What are we angry about?
Well, it's the DHI that's failing whenever it's running it, right? So
Yeah, but it shouldn't matter. What do I do differently in mine?
is AppDB context actually getting registered with this? What's it? What project were you running it on? On the DB migrations, is it getting registered there?
Yeah.
Add AppDB context.
Yeah, it's there. From root provider. What did I do differently in my project? See, I tried to do these things off of my examples, and they work.
What's your that's in your service defaults, right? The add app DB context. What's that look like?
Let's go back here. Go to shared extensions right there. So that looks right.
Seems like it.
Where are you? Where are you, DB migrations? Let me see. There's something I've missed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Skip build. I love how I can't keep the other folder open to see what I do differently there.
Do you like, I know in the stuff that I was using, everything was like, oh, make sure you add the NPG SQL DB context. I don't know if that, like, what's the difference here between your app?
It should be there because it's being shared through service defaults now. So it's bounced through.
But the actual, your add DB context on the call on the services. I'm just curious because I guess I'm using it a little bit different. I'm doing builder dot add NPG SQL DB context as my like top level call. Maybe it's just a different shortcut to the same thing. I don't know.
It should be. This is what I've got in a Net9 project right now.
Yeah.
So now the case is, what did I miss? So DB migrations. Let me check my shared. This is supposed to be easy, right? We're supposed to be making this easy. We got that. We got the configure calls. Yes. We've got AppDB context off the host builder. That's correct. That's all straight. My DB migrations is right, apparently. Let's see if this runs. What if
you're just proving my gripe correct about why I don't like doing the EF4 migration stuff. Like, just let me write the little bit of code to do it in the room sharp.
Usually I do this off of a template. I have like a solution template that creates all my stuff. And so I forget because the design library is there, right? Free packages.
Yeah, but this is all like can't resolve the scoped service, right? And so like, is it doing something when you're adding DB context? Is that actually registering it as scoped?
Yes, automatically. Okay. So let me just check one other thing. I'm going to open another project that I have. I'm going to open this off screen and we'll see what I do differently here. Probably nothing. Done this 100,000 times. What the heck? Service defaults, extensions. Of course, this project I didn't even need. I didn't need it. Uno momento. Let's check this one. This guy's got to have it. Nice, go away. And I want to pull that sucker in. So basically what I'm trying to do here is figure out why my net 9 projects. Actually, this one's net 10, so this one definitely should work. So I've got my add DB context, add DB context. That's that. It gets connection string. The connection string is legit. Oh, hang on. Is it legit? Did I screw up the connection string? No, I did not. This is a worker. This is main. Let's see what I've got here. I don't like when I prove your point, John. It's no bueno. So you got the scope here. So this is all right. The one thing I did need to do was shut this app down. So when it's done, I have to shut everything down, and I'll inject that in a second.
So, but what when the EF tool is running, like is it actually running your project too? Like how are we getting to the point where it's an error that's like registering the
does a little
getting the instance of the DI'd object?
It kind of skips a bunch of things, I think.
Because that's kind of weird in a way. Like I kind of get it, I guess, because it's trying to like look at your code and see what it needs to map out.
Right. I'm just okay. So I had migration. Of course, this project is not compiling yet because I haven't had it open forever. Global tool. Let's close that. So this is telling me everything is exactly how I normally configure it, except you're not working. Let me see. Do I have it in this project? I have one more project I can pull up that have this perfected in. Let me pull that off screen. Too many projects, dude. I have too many projects. So
do you think it's hitting the, like, is it getting to this execute call where it's finally airing out? Like when you're trying to get the, okay.
No, I don't think it's running anything. So build, run, DB context. Try putting this in reverse. I wonder if I do this. Okay, let's put that in reverse. Let's try something. Curious what this is. I wonder when this started.
I had that too in my project. I wasn't sure either.
That's something from, so I don't have additional objects. Build configurations, debug, migrations is the folder. And everything looks quite correct. Let's see. Well, it's more positive, but not quite. Not quite. Any framework core. Okay, well, let's go one step further and debug this puppy. I wonder if so it's automatically going to call base there. I'm going to try this. See if that unpeeves it. What a piece of shit.
I'm gonna pay like this is maybe not part of the issue at all, but this is kind of where I start to get a little bit confused in general and using EF and stuff. Like I pasted you what I have in my project that is the project that does the migrations and stuff. So like, my first thought from an outside perspective is like, I don't understand why I arrived at using, this extension registration method and you have something totally different and both should work.
Well, this should work. I mean, it's the same setup that I have for every other thing, except that it was net 9. I mean, I copy and pasted it, for crying out loud. The only thing is I haven't updated it to net 10, so I wonder if something's changed. Now, the other thing is that I haven't mapped any classes, but this should automatically go, yeah, we need to do that. So what if I just do db context.options? What if we just do that? Does that appease it? Let's see. I'm just compiling everything to make sure it's pleased.
Yeah, you never know.
See, because it doesn't need a database connection or anything. Like it's not there.
Yeah.
Like none of that's configured. So it should just bounce on through here.
That was something that kind of tripped me up too, because it almost seems like you do, but then if you do want to run the migration, like not within your process, you do need the connection string. And with Aspire, that gets weird because it's like, well, where does that come from? Like I get if it's all wired up and you do the migration at runtime, that's fine. But if you want to do it ahead of time, you can't.
Maybe we'll push this to next week. This is being a pain in the ass. I gotta go figure out what I've done in other projects.
Well, we're almost up on an hour anyway here.
This is called How to Fail 101. If AI can figure it out.
I mean, AI. Yeah.
Give AI one last chance to figure this out before.
Maybe, like fix my error, please. Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
Sometimes I just literally paste the EF migrations command, paste the whole thing into the chat, just see what it does. That's what I usually do. And it's just like, oh, I see this is what's happening. And
you can friggin' do it too. Here, let's give it to Opus.
Yeah.
The new smart guy on the block. Fix it. No, stop. That's not what I copied. I didn't copy it right at all. Fix this problem. There we go.
Yeah, honestly, I have more success than not with stuff like this. And sometimes it's a bit of an iterative process, but the most recent one was like my provisioning stuff. Like I couldn't get the app to run in anything, right? In Rider or whatever. And it turned out there's something with my entitlements, but it was like, I forget, it was obscure. And it's like, it went through everything and it's like, yeah, this is the problem. And like, okay, great. And it fixed it, or it told me what was wrong.
Right. It is doing something stupid.
Yeah. That doesn't look so good.
I don't know where it's going with this, John, but
I mean, sometimes it does this stuff to like help itself debug too. Like I've had that where it's like, I'm going to try and do this. And then afterwards it'll blow it out because it's like, oh, I figured out what I wanted to, but this
did not go the right route. It has gone the wrong route. Good job. So this is what I love about this. This is what I love too, because AI is also now gone right back to where we came from, but worse. It went the entire wrong way.
It's funny because I mean, it's not that I believe that I don't believe that this happens, but like I don't usually have it do this stupid of things when I use it. I really don't.
It's got us all wrong now. It's completely wrong.
Yeah. But I guess like when I run into a case like this, then I'm like, I do kind of usually stop and redirect and give it more context and be like, okay, like this is what's going on.
Well, we'll give it one more. It hasn't given up yet. I haven't had to call it a dumbass, but if I keep seeing this error, next round I'll go, hey, yeah, see, it's completely lost now. AI is no better. There, does it count? If I'm defeated and AI is defeated, then we can call it a day, right?
I think so.
To it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it off the air. Oh, cause see, I should have tested with this. Works in Net9, 100%. I do the same crap for.
I don't. Like I said, I don't know enough about EF core stuff, and like I said, I didn't arrive at the same way of doing things exactly. And to me, I kind of want to understand what the difference is between how I arrived at doing it in my app versus how you've been doing it. But like that's one of the things that's frustrating about some of these like monolithic projects and frameworks, right? It's like there's maybe just been an evolution over time of how things have been done, and now there's like 5 different ways to do the same thing, and no documentation is clear on like what's the right, best, newest, most correct way.
Right. That's a problem all the time, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's nothing new.
It's gone like Hey, now we're gonna. This is not the
Yeah.
password. Good.
See,
good
I
job.
I do the use, but like, yeah, I guess I don't have a factory. I don't register a DB context
There is no
factory.
factory. It's gone and done this. This is
No,
AI
no, no.
doing it.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even try to use a factory anywhere. Like, you have the register or add DB context factory that in your service defaults.
This is usually all I have.
Yeah.
I mean, minus usually I do have an on model creating, and I go through and I create like the explicit mappings. I haven't done that here.
Right. No, that's
doesn't
like
matter.
essentially
It is-
what I have too. Same thing.
Do I
Weird.
do? Oh, did it create something?
You're not okay. Weird.
Where the hell did it create it though? It ain't there. I don't know what you're doing now, bud. Amazing.
Do
I think I'm
you
gonna stop
do you need
here.
to call one last thought? Do you need to call base on your empty constructor?
No, it should be
Okay.
automatic. It's not looking at that anyways because I tried to remove
I still
that.
don't get why you have that there because I don't need that. It doesn't
I
complain with it.
didn't put an app DB context.
No, I understand you didn't put that in there.
So this is
I
something
meant
new.
on your other one.
This is what we get for going at 10. All right. So this is a to
I
be
don't know, I'm on
continued.
that 10 too. Well, we'll see.
There's got to be something I'm missing, dude.
Yeah.
I just want to see what it is because I've got this. This is right. Data's. Did I not have it? Oh my God. Is that what it
But
is? But
how
then
would
how
it-
did it? No, but it didn't need that anyways.
No,
That's
because you have it
it's
through
being
service
stupid because
defaults,
it's
right?
through service defaults.
Yeah.
So this is AI going, it must be this, but we didn't bother to check. I mean, I'll leave it, but it doesn't make any bit of difference. Undo this. No. Whoa, man, what did you do? All right. All right. We'll call it a day. I'll go read on what the heck has changed because this means it's broken. As soon as I convert my other projects to Net 10,
Hopefully
should
see
be
the
as
same
well.
thing. Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Well,
It's
it's just a cliffhanger to be continued on the next Gone.net.
all right. I'll call it quits. Hang on. Let me. So at least go check out room.sharp. At least we didn't fail
Yeah.
completely, right? That's a good library. Use it.
Yeah.
Try
And
it.
we've got some fun stuff coming up, I think, in future episodes after we finish this topic up. We'll do some other fun stuff too.
Sounds great.
So stay tuned.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming for the fail of the day. We will see you next week on Gone.net.